Hey guys, what is up? It is your friendly neighborhood Ugus here, back again with another World of Warcraft leveling video. So this time, first of all, I made a few changes to the recording, so hopefully it'll be a bit higher quality. I've upped the bitrate, and now I'm recording in 60 FPS. Normally I've had issues with recording World of Warcraft, pretty much any game actually, at 60 FPS. But hopefully this will go alright. So today's plan is to get to Duskwood. And the way I'm going to do that is via like a fly there. I'm going to go into the Exodar. I know there is in fact a portal in Exodar that goes to Darnassus. And if I have to fly there as a joint flight path to get to Teldrassil, or to Rutheren Village, Teldrassil, then I might as well just fly, take the port into, I think I'll end up in the Temple of the Moon, and then I run out to the Temple Gardens, take the little port thing there, and then I'm on here, and then I take a boat, and we're good. So that means we are done with Bloodmist Isle, which means I'm going to abandon all of this shit. And you might be like, hey, whoa, yo, slow down, what are you doing? You don't even have any quests, and it's a level 20 area. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to run a dungeon. And by first thing, I mean, obviously first we're going to get to Stormwind, and then I'll be running a dungeon, and that should get us to 20. In the event that it doesn't, then, I don't know, I'll fucking figure something out, but here we go. We are free of the quest menace. We have no quest at all, which is exactly what I wanted. So here we go. So, in the last video, I pretty much didn't get jack shit in terms of levels, I think. That's not true, actually. I got to 15, and then in Ragefire Chasm got to, whatever. It's in Vault of Lights, I believe. Alright. So, once I hit 20, I'll be able to, in Stormwind, I'll be able to talk to the, there it is, portal to Darnassus. It's also a portal to Hellfire, which would be a similar way to get there, but without a mount, I don't really want to take that. Actually, that is a portal to Stormwind, doesn't it? Oh snap, hang on. Oh, you have to be level 58, alright, that explains things. I mean, it makes sense. You can't get to the Outlands until you're 58. I just wanted to test, I guess. Alright, we're in the Temple of Moon, as anticipated, so let's go. It's a gnome warlock with a spectral griffin. So let's see, what new mounts do I have to show you? I don't think I have any new ones, actually. I was just playing on my Horde. Oh, that's not true. I have the Ironbound Proto-Drake acquired from Glory of the Ulduar Raider, 25 player. I had to wait until the reset, the raid lockout reset, to do Orbituary, which I neglected to do before on the last go through Ulduar to get all the achievements. I forgot how to set up Orbituary, thought that I already messed it up talking to Bran, and it was just a whole thing. Just a whole thing. So this is the boat to Stormwind. Hopefully I can make it before it takes off. I have a feeling I won't be able to, but we'll see. So why am I gonna go to this fucking dumb place over here, to Duskwood? Well, I think Duskwood is a pretty sweet place with pretty good questing, I guess, questing rate. Hey, we got there. And so if I am going to be, I mean, firstly, I do want to just go to a level 20 plus area, and I do not want to go to Ashenvale, because Ashenvale sucks butts. And I mean, that's like, those are my options, right? Like, I can technically do stuff in Northern Barrens right now, I think there are things in Northern Barrens for Alliance. There's also wetlands, which I think is pretty butts. So, whatever. Alright, so now that we've taken the boat, I will hop off into Stormwind and queue up for a dungeon, which queue should pop pretty much instantly. I actually did have a weird sort of situation, so I have a paladin that I decided to make prot just to level up a bit faster. And I queued for tank, and it was like a 5-minute queue, which was very bizarre, as you can tell. Alright, now I have to remember what my buttons do as a warrior instead of a paladin, which will be very bizarre. This is why I kind of didn't want to do that, but...
We've been walled up for far too long.
We have been walled up for far too long. So who's my healer? You're my healer. Let's fucking go. Yeah, you ready. Alright. Easy enough. Alright. So the problem that I'm most likely going to run into a lot is that I'm gonna lose my mind, and I have one AoE ability as a warrior. I was doing this specific dungeon because I think this is actually the level range where you literally can't do anything but SFK right now. I think it doesn't exist, the ability to do non-SFK, which is very bizarre, but regardless, I was doing this on my paladin, who has, like, you know, 18 AoE abilities or whatever at like level 2, because welcome to the paladin lifestyle, you know, stay a while. But unfortunately I have one as a warrior, but it looks like we're doing alright, because it does generate enough rage, it appears, that it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, let's just clap. Make that Buddha go clap. So what do I have? I have taunt on Shifty. Got it. Okay. Needed to make sure, because I think I have taunt on just E on my paladin. Mixing up binds is a problem. I mean, so, I don't know if you know this. You probably do, considering I'm making a leveling series and talking about leveling other characters. I'm an altaholic. It's a crippling disease that plagues literal millions every day. It essentially is the like indescribable feeling of need to create additional characters in World of Warcraft. And the biggest problem with being an altaholic is the situation of confusing your keybinds. That's when it gets real bad. And thankfully, it looks like because we're at a situation where I don't have the most keybinds, looks like it's alright. We okay. I do like SFK. This is a sweet dungeon. This is one of the cooler ones that got revamped. Again, I don't think all of the ones that got revamped were revamped in Cataclysm. Also, I will point out that I was incorrect in my description of Wailing Caverns about it not changing at all. I thought it didn't change at all, but it did change. They actually lopped off a chunk of Wailing Caverns that nobody ever did anyway, which is why I thought that it was unchanged. There was an additional chunk of it that was, there were 2 bosses, I want to say. The main thing I remember about it, do y'all like the Paladin? Yes. Alright, well. But the main thing I remember about it is that it's like kind of murky, kind of swampy, and there's a bunch of fairy dragons. There's still one fairy dragon in Wailing Caverns, but there's not a bunch of them, which were in this area that just got lopped off, which, again, I thought the whole thing wasn't changed at all because, whoops, I have made a mistake. Alright, looks like we got this. We pulled aggro, and we're Gucci. You know what I will say I don't really like? I dislike the fact that we seem to just, like, not have a mage. Now, you know, I shouldn't be judging people too hard in, you know, level 18 leveling dungeons, right? Like, you know, it's not a huge deal. But, I will say, you know, when you're doing 27 DPS as a mage at this level, you probably don't know what you're doing. Which, again, isn't necessarily me complaining about the person, because everybody at some point didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And maybe this person is just currently in that stage. I might have pulled a little bit too powerfully. And I'm also probably using my rage a bit excessively. If I was conserving my rage a bit better, I would have been able to pop shield block and not even, like, taken that damage. But whatever. Not a big deal, most likely. Person is saying that they are ready to level up to 110. I don't know if I'm ready for that, to be honest with you. I guess I probably am. I must be, but you know, it's like the full extent of it. Like, I haven't wrapped my brain around the whole actually going another 10 levels and shit. That's a bit of a lot, you know. I tend to prefer I know they only did it twice, which is weird to me, because it seemed like it was a thing that they were, like, committing to as a new thing. But the whole 5-level expansion thing, that felt real nice. The 5-level expansions. So, I don't know. I kind of want them to, like, bring back the 5-level expansions, but at the same time, a lot of people tend to like the more levels, you know, in expansions. They like the bigger level gap. But the thing is, right, as an altaholic, one of the most important things for me is how fast can I be fucking done with the expansion when leveling another one through it. Alright, I'll pull these. Whatever, man. We going crazy, apparently. Fuck you. So I'm just greeting everything. The reason that I'm greeting everything is because that's a way to make money while leveling up. It's not a lot of money, but it makes up for what you don't get by questing through the levels, if that makes sense, right? So, like, if I was questing through these levels, I'd be getting so much money, right? Like, a certain amount of money. And you don't get that by just doing dungeons, and so it makes up for that. By just greeting everything and, you know, winning some greed rolls and shit. Makes up for what you're missing. That's right, we don't have to wait, because the quest does not end there for the Worgens. Hey, you. I will say, low-level tanking is probably one of the most boring things in the world. And then high-level tanking is, like, kind of excessively stressful to me. Eh, maybe not excessively stressful. That's probably exaggerating a bit much, but it is definitely stressful to a point that I generally dislike it. Generally. Not always, but generally. And low-level tanking is just kind of boring, so I don't know. I wish there was like a middle ground. I honestly don't even know what it is about later level tanking that I dislike so much, but I'm gonna yank you on over. But yeah, like I tried tanking a bit on my Death Knight, who I think I'm at. Am I 71 or 72 right now? I'm not sure. But I tried doing a bit of tanking on my Death Knight, and it's like my new Death Knight. Sorry, let me clarify. I have an old Death Knight that I actually did the raiding stuff on, which I've talked about before. The Wrath stuff. My new Death Knight, who is I think level 72. I'm not certain. Obviously gotta do the smart thing, pull this guy out. I think our mage thinks Ice Block is a DPS ability. I'm not certain. You know, this is me just going off of a limited amount of information. However, I did see my mage stand stationary in an Ice Block for several seconds straight when there was no damage to be avoided. So I'm uncertain with the amount of information that I have about that conclusion that I'm drawing. However, I will say there's strong evidence leading me to believe it. Actually, what level do you get Ice Block? Maybe they literally just leveled up and just got it, and they were so excited and that they wanted to see what it did. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they're clearly a new player, right? I don't think they have any heirlooms. It doesn't look like they do. I'm not going to check if they have them, like, mogged or something. Fucking, who transmogs gear at this fucking level? Nothing cool to mog into, you know? Although I have considered mogging, like, you know, heirlooms, because I do get a little bit bored of the aesthetic of the specific heirlooms that everyone has, of course. I mean, like the ones I'm using right now, I'll be completely honest with you, they're kind of boring to me already. But, I mean, there's really nothing to mog into for so long, so I see it as just a waste of gold. Why am I not auto-running when I'm caps locking? Weird. And I know, weird, you changed your auto-run hotkey? Yeah, I know. It's because numlock is too far away. Hey, you. So this, okay. They are irrelevant. Alright, well, it seems like having one AoE ability is still perfectly fine for SFK. Even though there's so much AoE stuff. As long as I just hit him with it. As long as I, you know, whoa. Yeah, please. Douche, douche. Can't wait to find out that the Paladin need rolled these. That would be hilarious, right? Oh, are these the... Yeah, they're the Raiders, the red set. I know what that set is, explicitly due to the fact that, that's the Mog set that I'm using, one piece from, actually? I think it might actually only be one piece on my, Hunter. And you'd be like, well, what the heck? You're playing a warrior. How would you have the same gear as Hunter? Well, it's male, so there you go. And my Hunter being a night elf female has to be as slutty as physically possible. So of course I went with one, you know, not one, but several pieces for the transmog set that are very, I guess you could call it risque. I wouldn't. It's a dumb way to put it. But, you know, whatever. I think it's the chest from the Raiders set, if I'm not mistaken. It's the chest that is, it turns into like a bra. Like a bikini top even. When worn on female characters. Anyway. We're almost done, right? There's, I mean, yeah, there's Lord Walden and Lord Godfrey. Lord Walden's at the top of these stairs, and then there's like one room before the final dude. Hello, Lord Walden. Woo! Alright, just gonna rage dump immediately at the start of the fight, and then I'll start holding on to some specifically for the end of the fight when I'm gonna execute him a bunch. Just right here. Only got 2 off. Butcher's Cleaver is a sweet item, by the way. The old item that was there was like, wasn't it like the greatest twink weapon of all time or something? The old one, or was it always Butcher's Cleaver? I actually completely forgot. There was, I mean, there's a lot of twink gear. There was a lot of twink gear in this dungeon. Stupid slide whistle. What can I do? Let's just get some green on my head.
What's your story?
Alright, so there's one like tiny room, 2 packs of mobs, and then the next room has 2 big undeads and the final boss, and then we're done. And we will easily be level 20 as anticipated, ready to go in whatever the stupid forest place is. Oh, there's also Geists right here. Hello. You guys are so irrelevant, but I will give you some clapping. Just clap my hands for you, you know. All right. I'm gonna take these one at a time, or at the very least, I'm gonna attempt to kill the caster before moving to the other pack. Just so I can keep him, you know, clumped and reasonable. Yeah, do it. Hey, learn to ride. Well, I'll probably be ditching that quest because I am not going back to Exodar. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. Alright. I want to build up rage a little bit. But it's not going to be, you know, it's not the end of the world. One way or another. I just want to build it up so I can rage dump on the final boss immediately. And then, of course, do the saving up for execute thing again. Did we just get Victory Rush? We did. Hot damn. Oh yeah, this shit. I forgot he even had abilities. But, whatever. Alright. I'm gonna be 21 at the end, actually. We got a nice little satchel. Not nearly as good as the heroic call to arms satchel, which I don't think is an unreasonable expectation.
That's enough.
Ding. Alrighty. 21, huh? That's pretty good. Now we get our mount, and then we can go to the stupid forest place. So I think I've made the decision. Yeah, I'm not finding you. I've made the decision that I'm going to... First of all, I'm going to get a Stormwind Tabard. Gotta remember that. I'm also going to buy some bags. But I'm going to do 1 dungeon per episode, or at least I'm going to limit myself to at most 1 dungeon per episode. Some episodes I might not do a single dungeon, but I do plan on doing dungeons a bit. So, there you go. Heroic Throw is the next thing I get at 22. Which I will probably put on E instead. How do I want to... Where does Taunt want to go? Z? Could do Shift F. Shift F is a good one. Where am I going? Wait. Can I even get out by the park anymore? I don't think so, right? I think I have to go up this ramp. By what remains of the park, rather. Let me be a bit more clear about that. So I'm gonna go over to the pandas and say, "Yo, teach me how to ride," and the pandas will be alright. It'd be like, "All right, boy, I got you," and then we'll be riding. And you know what? Let's So okay, firstly, you know what's fucking weird? I don't. Okay, hang on. So here's something I don't quite understand. I'm leveling my paladin, who's a dwarf. I hit 20, and then it said I got the Giddy Up achievement, and then I could ride. I didn't have to go buy riding from anywhere. I didn't have to do anything. I literally could just ride. Like, I literally hit 20, and then I slapped the riding stuff onto the mount that I was using onto my hotbar, and then I was like, all right, we're good. We're done. Like this, and then it would allow me to ride. I was very confused. I like automatically learned the apprentice riding skill. Yeah, I don't get it. I think it like broke because it was the first character that I had. Let me Duskward, yeah. It was the first character that I had leveled up to 20 after getting Draenor Pathfinder, so I think there might be some bug related to that, considering it's account wide and shit. Also, check out the damage numbers throughout the whole dungeon. It's weird, right? Alright. Hello, Malin. With your crazy Tumblr hair. Alright. And now we get to ride our Raptor. Easy peasy. A lemon squeezy. Is there anything else I would like to do? I don't believe so. I think we're ready to go to that place. To Darkshire. Oh right, bags. Let me do that. Oh, poor guy. 74 and he doesn't have 280% flying. What a loser, am I right? Up top. Okay. Actually, wasn't that an auction house back there? Yeah, it probably was. Whatever. I know of the one in the trade district, and I'm gonna go to the trade district anyway, because I'm leaving Stormwind, so it's not a big deal. Stormwind is cool. Also, the tabard. Right, okay. I need to actually, like, pay attention to things that I myself say. It's a problem I have. I just don't listen to myself. So I don't fully understand resolve. I mean, I guess it's to I guess it's just to make your own self-healing more relevant, which makes sense. Yeah, that looks good. I like tabards on some characters. I think it looks pretty good on female Draenei. Alright. So I'm just going to buy Netherweave, no matter what the ridiculous price is at the moment, which they can sometimes be weird. Hey, they're under 10 right now. Sick. 4 of them, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, you have 4 bag slots. Perfect. I bought 4 of them at like 20 gold a pop because I was just so fucking... I didn't care, you know? I just didn't care. Also, I don't ever really need better than Netherweave. Like, the only time I ever upgrade from Netherweave, the only time I've, like... I don't understand. I think it's because it's in that bag. Yeah. That's a weird one. So the only time that I, like, upgrade from Netherweave is when I have an incredible surplus of gold. Or I pick up the 22 slot Onyxia and Sartharion bags. I think those are the... I think they're both 22 slots. I believe they are. I know one of them's 22. The other one might be 20. I don't remember.
See you around.
Yeah, and I'm just deleting these. Oh, but use it. Oh. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Let's go. So, Tabard, important. It will begin leveling up my reputation with Stormwind, which, considering I'm currently at friendly, that's a good thing. I actually have higher rep with Stormwind than I do Darnassus, even though pretty much everything in the Draenei starting zone gave rep with Exodar and Darnassus. Whatever. Cozy Fire. When did that happen? Alright, what other toys do I have that I can actually use? I wish I could use the Clickix's web spinner before level 90. I don't understand. Oh yeah, let's... Here we go. I wanted to look like an evil Draenei before, and now I'm super evil Draenei. Got some cool toys. Could become Millhouse Mana Storm. And I'm glad this got turned into a toy. It's really nice. The Cursed Feather of Ixan. Ixan. Of course, Moreau's famous polish, which removes all your clothes. It's great. Visually removes them all. Touch the Naru. Oh, it requires 100? Ugh. So just that. Ugh. Selfie camera, of course, is pretty good. Yeah, toys are cool. I'm not like a toy collector. If I were to be collecting anything, if I were a collector of anything in this game, it would be mounts. And I'm doing a really bad job at collecting those. But I mean, I'm running every fucking thing that drops mounts every time it comes up on my main. I could be optimizing it by doing it on more than one character, but I find playing Warlock and Monk so incredibly boring. The only reason that, I mean, the Warlock is 100 because it was my first 100 after resubbing a little over a month ago. And then Hunter was my second 100, and, you know, everything else feels like shit compared to Hunter. And then I leveled up my Monk, and, like, the Monk, I got to, like, Northrend content, and then I just got bored with him. And then I went on to some other characters. Actually, I was leveling the Monk before I leveled the Hunter. I think my Monk was in Outland before my Hunter was created, but my Hunter vastly outpaced the Monk's leveling, because I enjoyed it so much that I just kept playing the Hunter. But then, like, you know, my Monk was essentially stranded in Northrend and abandoned by me, and then I was like, alright, whatever, let's get you to 100 just so I can say I did and get the stupid achievement. And so I did. And now I can say I did. Yeah, so Duskwood is a pretty sweet questing area. I actually really like it. Especially after the change where they added all the Worgen and stuff. Before the Worgen stuff, this place was pretty bland. I mean, like, the coolest part about it was, like, down here, near the entrance to Stranglethorn, which is still, I think it's the same still, where there's, like, a bunch of stuff, like ogres and shit, I think, are there. I don't quite remember. But this used to be the super boring area of Duskwood. But now it's pretty cool with all the Worgen. I like it, at least. I know people tend to disagree, but, you know, everybody likes to hate on everything WoW does, so I just don't think of it too much, I guess.
Hey there. Farewell.
Hey there. Farewell.
King's honor, friend.
Ah! Look at all these humans. What losers, am I right?
Light be with you.
I believe it's back here, yeah.
Need help?
Dusky crab cakes
Go with all.
and wolf skirt steak. which is nice, because I get to kill direwolves, and I get to kill direwolves, which is pretty sweet. I think I can get up over here. Yeah. And there's another quest. Glad I came this way.
Oi,
Hello, Tobias Mistmantle.
good day.
Okay, gotta go to the town hall. I believe that guy, considering he had the British accent, and the human race has a very, I guess, American accent. They're just very plain. And he had a British
What can I do for you?
instead of this. I'm gonna assume that he's a Worgen. And he's fooling us. He's playing us a fool. I still don't actually understand why Worgen have a British accent. But they do, so whatever. I also wish you could actually, like, as a Worgen, you could, you know, stay in your human form. Just cause. I mean, you know, like, you're not getting the human racials, so why does it matter, you know? It's just a visual thing. And, like, yeah, there's ways to be in, like, a human form. Like, toys, I'm sure there's a toy that allows you to be like a human or whatever. But still, I don't know, it bothers me. Because my warlock is a Worgen. Because also I had no Worgens. Basically my warlock is like the epitome of what I haven't done before. And like, that ends up being pretty bad. I end up, apparently I don't really tend to like things that I didn't try, I guess? I don't know. I really don't like Warlock. Really not a huge fan of Worgen. So, you know. Just a mishmash of sadness, I suppose. Alright, so we're gonna go this way because the dusky lumps have a fairly low drop rate, in my experience. So I'm gonna go take care of that as soon as possible. I did this quest once recently, and it definitely appeared as if the dusky lumps had a bad drop rate. I'm glad that guy left me alone. He knew what was up. I think I was on my hunter? Or my monk? I don't quite remember. I like started doing quests here, and then I just did dungeons. For a person who claims to like the quests a lot, I tend to just do dungeons a lot more. Because dungeons are just faster. I don't know. I'm gonna enjoy this though. The questing experience. Not fully the questing experience because it is quite slow, but this is still more questing than I normally do on alts. So I'm gonna enjoy it. And I hope you guys also do. Don't you dare kill that skunk, you motherfucker! Oh. That was too late. That poor little skunk. Skunky Skunkleton, I'll name him. Rest in peace, Skunky Skunkleton. He just turned into fucking Yoda. Or the elders from the Dark Crystal. Or Namix. Or... God, is that a trope yet? The whole, like, you know, species that we don't really know anything about the way they die is instead of just fucking dying, they vanish, you know, they dematerialize. Is that considered a trope yet? Because if it's not, it really should be. Everyone fucking does it. Every single fucking person does it. Every writer, I should say, does that shit. Because they're like, oh, you know, it's not interesting watching somebody literally just die, you know? Like somebody who's bedridden just dies, you know? They stop moving. All right, you know? That's boring, right? So, like, I kind of get it. But at the same time, like, you could be a bit more creative than just making them dematerialize. Like, it was pretty cool when Yoda died that way. Spoilers, in case you haven't seen Star Wars, you buffoon. But when Yoda dies, it was really cool. Because, first of all, it really hadn't been overdone yet when Yoda died in that fashion. And it was cool because they took that opportunity to actually have a really neat visual effect of, you know, him fading out and then the blanket falling, you know, because the support of him is gone. And that was a cool visual effect, and I'm glad that it exists. But, like, literally just the whole, like, fading out of existence thing is so fucking bland. Yeah, dusky lumps definitely appear to be the drop rate that I initially anticipated. Bad is the drop rate that I initially anticipated. I canceled that so you could read the name of my mount again and get jealous of me. Also, if you don't watch my Isaac series, but are interested in my opinions on the Dark Crystal, I'm sad about it now. It was such a good memory to have, and then I rewatched it, and I'm like, not really a great movie, huh? Not a bad movie by any stretch, but not a great one. That much is for sure. I really wish it stayed as a memory instead of I rewatched it and got disappointed. I don't know. The world that was built is the best part about it. And it's a really good part about it, but hey, look, I have one dusky lump. And I've scoured the entire area that the quest indicator is telling me they exist. Sure hope I get better drops on these next few. Otherwise this will take a long time. Alright, so far so good. Fuck, I did the wrong order again. I'm so set on putting Shield Slam on cooldown. And then I forget Heroic Strike doesn't consume the global cooldown. Like it's not tied to global cooldown. So I can still get Shield Slam on cooldown at the same time if I just Heroic Strike first, except that I'll also actually properly utilize the rage generated via Shield Slam. And this is, of course, referring to the situation where I am at 100 rage. Alright. Not bad. Like there. What a great example of what I'm referring to. Oh man. Dusky lumps, huh? Could they have chosen a stupider name for this? For these things? which I guess aren't in my inventory anymore, which is probably one of the best changes they ever made, by the way. Quest items no longer requiring inventory space. Out of all of the things that they've tweaked for the questing experience, that is such a cool mount and I want it. What is it called? It's a riding crane. I mean, I know it's a Pandaria mount, obviously, but I don't know where to get it. I will look that up. Because it looks sweet as fuck. There's one. Blah, 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 jumpy jump. God, I remember when I was first playing WoW. Because, okay, it's so weird, right? My experience with WoW was I watched my friend play it in, like, you know, during probably, like, mid-BC. And he was very new to it. Like, he was, like, level fucking, I don't know, 30s, had to be. Had to be in the 30s, when I was first watching him play the game. Because, yeah, I mean, I remember he was doing Razorfen Downs, which is like a 40-something. And that was like the third time that I watched him play or something like that. Anyway, so he introduced me to WoW. And after being introduced to it, I did my usual thing where I will go to the internet. Once I discover a thing, I go to the internet and I consume as much information as physically possible pertaining to the thing and make the decision, will I enjoy this thing or not? Most often, the answer is yes. And I don't know if that's because I'm just really good at picking the right things to garner some interest in, you know, enough so to look it up on the internet, or maybe just consuming hours upon hours of information on something gives you like a Stockholm syndrome type thing. But regardless, one of the things I consumed was PvP videos, of course. And it was funny because when I was leveling up, I leveled up a troll first. And I chose a realm because I just wanted to do it. I chose a realm and I was leveling up. And then, you know, a little bit later, I called my friend on the telephone via landlines. I know, way back in the day when landlines existed. And I called him and I was like, hey, what realm are you on? But before that, I leveled a troll shaman out of the starting area to about level 8, I want to say. I believe I still have them on my account somewhere. I don't remember what realm I was on with that guy. But I leveled through the starting zone, and of course, because I was watching PvP videos, I did a lot of jumping. Which, as you may know, is irrelevant, and it doesn't do anything beneficial in PvE to just jump a lot. They have since introduced mechanics, of course, that jumping will help you not take damage, but because of the way that the server sees your jumping and shit, it doesn't really do anything. It's really finicky and awful, but anyway. I jumped a lot, which does nothing in PvE content. And in PvP content, the only thing it really does is if you jump when somebody applies a slow, if you get the jump off before the slow is applied, you will continue the full jump motion before actually receiving the slow. Essentially, the slow is a reduced time window of affecting you because of it. So it is beneficial to jump in PvP as long as you don't just do it excessively and have no idea what you're doing, which tends to be the most common jumping in PvP. But yeah, so I jumped a lot, and then I went to Razor Hill in Duratar. And in Razor Hill, I saw people dueling, and I was like, oh man, PvP! So then I dueled a guy, and like, I hit my buttons, and I jumped a lot, and I won the duel, and he was like, wow, you're good. And, you know, we're both like fucking 2-year-olds or something, so he's like, wow, you're good. And I'm like, thanks, I'm training for PvP. And as I'm thinking about that now, I'm like, oh god, oof, ah, eeh, oof. Oh, it hurts to think about. Oh, geez, that was a thing I said, wasn't it? Ugh, ah. But, you know, everybody's dumb Alright? Everybody's fucking stupid until they learn to not be stupid, right? Welcome to life. You're dumb until you realize that you were being dumb. Isn't there's like some great philosopher who said like the greatest wisdom is to know you know nothing, I think. Which is a very astute, a very smart thing to say, for a few reasons. But I mean, I think it's really cool because it pretty well exemplifies what is Black Famine. I was like, why is there a Naga face? It pretty well kind of represents the whole Dunning-Kruger effect. Which, if you don't know Dunning-Kruger effect, it is essentially, first of all, it's named after the people who essentially did the paper on it. Not named like Dunning-Kruger isn't some dude who's really fucking dumb and thinks he's a god at everything. So it's unfortunate to the people who it's named after that it is commonly, you know, referred to as like if somebody's being dumb thinking they're not dumb. That's known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. So their names are tied to something pertaining to people being fucking dumb. But anyway, it's essentially the belief that you as a person are better than everybody else. Hello. When in reality, you are so completely inept at the thing that you think you're so good at. That you just don't know that you're bad at it, right? And that's where like this whole the greatest what did I even say? It's like the greatest knowledge is, or the greatest wisdom is knowing you know nothing. Right? And that ties into the Dunning-Kruger effect. Because in that circumstance, that person doesn't know they know nothing, right? Which is why they're fucking dumb. But it's very cool stuff. It's very unique stuff. That sort of thing.
Safe travels.
What about a spectral comb? What? Alright. Guess we're going over here. We're at 52 minutes. I think I'm gonna do this, turn these in, and see where to go from there. If I can do the next little chunk of chain, I guess, in the next 8 minutes, I will do that. If not, then I'll hold off and we'll cut the episode. So, one thing that I gotta say that bothers me deeply is the fact that I don't get the 0 cooldown heroic throw until in my 90s, and I get the like improved version of spells and stuff. But in your 90s, at a random second level interval, which is the most frustrating thing about the whole enhanced versions of spells, is that they're at random intervals. It's very frustrating to me, at least. But like it's cool that they exist, but at the same time, because they're random, the specific level that you get them at, it's very frustrating. So for example, Balance Druid gets instant what's the spell called? Star Surge? It's like their nuke that gives them the ability to nuke harder. That thing, it's somewhere in your 90s. First at 92, then at 94, then at 96, I think. Actually, how many enhanced things do you get? Do you get 4? I think it's just 92, 94, 96, 98, right? But you know, you could get it at instant cast that thing at 92, which would be incredible. Or you could get it at 98, which would be very frustrating. As you can maybe expect. This person has invited me to join their guild on 3 characters today, and I'm very frustrated with them. Mostly because it's really bothering me, the name and like the delivery of this guild message. Will you be the next White Knight? No, I'm not 12. I'm sorry. I know. I know. I'm not 12. Calling myself a White Knight is like literally committing suicide. Literally meaning figuratively in this sense. Yeah, this just bothers me. I should also lock that window so that little stretchy thing goes away. Alright, looks like we can get all this shit done before the hour mark, which is nice. Hey, don't do this. Blip. Blurp. Apparently I'm not getting any resolve because the damage I'm taking is too low. I don't understand resolve. I really don't. I mean, like, I get it, but, like, I don't understand it. There's a very distinct difference between getting and understanding. Stop it with your dumb shit, you dummy. Damn it. I don't want to fight more of you stupid stalkers. You don't give me anything for this quest. So I don't care about you. Alright, I'm looking for a torn journal. Ah! Motherfucker. Alright, now I gotta kill 3 more dudes, which I think I'm gonna get fought for. Looks like we alright. I will say, even though Prot does like the highest DPS of the specs at like early levels and stuff, it really feels like you just don't use spells ever. Spend a lot of your time just kind of making sure that you have the rage necessary to do things. As I level up, I'll get more spells via talents, though, of course. And I mean, I'll just get more spells in general, but I think mostly the spells that are like, I guess Dragon Roar, supposedly, is better than Shockwave. I mean, it's higher damage, right? But the difference is that Shockwave has 1/3 the cooldown,
What can I do for you?
assuming that you're using it in AoE situations. So,
How are you?
and 2/3 the cooldown if you're using it in single target situations. But Shockwave's really sweet. I don't remember which one of these abilities is best. I think Blade Storm is not that good at all, especially if you're tanking.
Light be with you. Light bless you.
But regardless, you get a lot of spells by getting talents, and then just leveling up, of course, will get me some spells. Devastate specifically will be the big one, which I'm close to getting. I'm 23 right now, and that's at 26, so doesn't seem unreasonable. Greetings.
Be careful.
Be careful. Yeah, here we go. Ogres. And that one's over here. Yep. Beautiful. Simply beautiful. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting Devastate. And, I mean, Revenge as well. Revenge is quite good. Basically, the thing about Prot Warrior is that you're super high APM. Do I even have a ring? I have no rings. I should look into those things. Assuming that they're good, you know. It's important that I'm not just getting rings because rings. Oh god, I have to stop the episode before an hour hits. Thanks for watching. Oh my god, I'll see you in the next one.